Shalom Yasharallah, giving all praise and glory to the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's worthy to be praised for everything. As always, we're going to start off with Colossians 3 and 17. Whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Give thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior, Mashiach Yahushai. Giving thanks to the Most High. He's worthy to be praised for everything. Hallelujah. To the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to look at what the world calls Thanksgiving. I call it Thanksstealing, Thankstaking, because wasn't anything given. It was all taken, from the indigenous people of the land. I don't know how people can form their lips and say it's Thanksgiving. It wasn't nothing given. It was all taken. From the rooter to the tutor, everything. From the East Coast to the West Coast, from the South to the North. How you discover a place when people are already living here, So, we have to understand what the Most High said He's going to do to the indigenous people of this land, who we are. I've posted lessons from the ancient ones by Empress Brady Turner, and she showed having Christopher Columbus logs. When he came into the Western Hemisphere, he found melanated people here. Everybody was melanated initially, except for Esau, the so-called white man, forefather, who became the Edomites. And they're the ones that came and took the people off their land and put them in slavery. But see, they try and say that the Indians didn't go enslaved. Well, maybe some of the $5 Indians and the Asians or whoever they are, including themselves to be, maybe they didn't. But the indigenous people that was here did. But the Most High told us this in Deuteronomy 28. The one He said, "It shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power," to the Israelites. 12 tribes of Israel, I might say. And get used to saying the 12 tribes of Israel, because that makes a difference when you say Israel, and people think you're talking about the Jewish people when you're not. You're talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. We only ones can identify that and identify with that. "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all His commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth." If we follow His laws, statutes, commandments, He will set us on above all nations of the earth. "And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power." But what do? Most High told us in verse 15. So from verse 3, 14 are blessings. From 15 all the way to 68 are curses. So He told us in verse 15, He said, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power," which is your power, which is a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership, to observe to do all His commandments and His statute, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? So, look at verse 30. So from 16 all the way to 68 are curses that befell we the children of Israel. No one else. Verse 30. "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her." And that's what happened in slavery. We had wives, and another man, they came in and took our wives and laid with them. And created babies too. "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Built houses. They came, took us off our houses. We built everything. We built the White House. I mean, we built everything. You name it. We the builders. We the masons, the carpenters, and so forth. And thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shalt not gather the grapes therein. Plant a vineyard, we didn't enjoy the grapes. Somebody else enjoyed them because we were in the captivity. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. They killed the buffaloes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. We had the leftovers of the pig and so forth, the guts and the insides of the animal. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Everything we had, our livestock taken away from us, right before our face, and not given back to us. That's what it's to restore back to us. We didn't get it back. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies. You see this? Sheep will be given to our enemies, not our friends, but our enemies. And thou shalt have none to rescue them. What he's told us, this is going to happen to us. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. They came here, they took our sons and daughters to themselves. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Verse 34, so thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes. What did we have to see that happened to us? Made us mad. Thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. See. This is what happened to us. Because we didn't follow the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. So let's look at verse 36. The Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. So we ain't know nothing about this Edomite that came here to this land. The Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Like I said, when he came here, Columbus came to the shores of this Western Hemisphere. We had a king here. You know, if you look at the lesson that I did, when Columbus came here, he found Negroes here, or really the Israelites were here, melanated people. A king, because he wanted him to come to him. He wouldn't come to him. He had to go to him. The Most High shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Look at all the people now serving wood, Christianity, and stone, Islam, Buddha, and you name it. Religions that we didn't know anything about. We know anything about. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Most High shall lead thee. See. Look. It say, verse 49, the Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far from the end of the earth, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies. Now you know that symbol gonna be the eagle. See, as swift as the eagle flies. What's the symbol of America? The bald eagle. This is so many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. This is prophesied. A nation whose tongue, which is a language, thou shalt not understand. We don't understand their language. A nation of fierce countenance, it says, which shall not regard the person of the old, and it caring about old people unto this day, nor show favor to the young. What they doing now? They killing us. They killing us. I mean, we had cities so beautiful that they couldn't duplicate until the late 1800s. Because you have to understand this. We are a powerful people. We the builders. We established mostly all these countries. We had our hand in building up to be a country. When they was in power, we was in captivity. And we were the builders. I mean, don't get it twisted. We wasn't running around Africa or even coming here with no skills. Let me read to you again, just in case you missed it the first time. Our particular qualities of architectural and so forth, and what we're able to do as a people does not really broadcast a lot because of the fact of they want to make you feel like you are less than, you're a minority to that extent, when you really are a majority and you are, as we're going to read here. This is from a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu. Black civilization in Africa. When we talking about we the 12 tribes of Israel. It says the Jews imported into, this is on page 90, it says the Jews imported into the western part of Africa a superior material, educational, and moral culture soon after 300 AD. And this cultural advancement was not duplicated or exceeded until the ascendancy of the Mohammedan leader Mansa Kanzar Musa of Mali in 1312 AD. Now you subtract 1312 AD, you subtract 300 from that, you get almost 990, 8 or so, like 988, something like that. Years later, somebody was able to duplicate that. Now you're looking at them coming here in 1492, they was able to duplicate what we had here in this Western Hemisphere until the late 1800s. And I'm quite sure, more than likely, we the ones that showed them how to do it. But see, we was running around swinging in trees in Africa with a diaper on. If you want to believe that. Let them tell it, right? Listen what it says. The Africans, see, in the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, the Africans on the west coast did not possess the cultural superiority of the Africans on the north and east coast. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. See, they carried us, they brought us from the east coast of Africa to the west coast and sold us. Different parts in the north, because we were in the north. North is closer to Israel, coming out of Egypt and so forth, and different lands that we had, Elephantine, a lot of different provinces that we had already set up in Africa before we ran in there in 70 AD. Running from the Romans, that Amashiach Shai told us in Luke 21 and 20. We have been there ever since, but we was there before. Because you understand, every time we went to captivity, we all didn't go back to the same place. We had different places where we went. We had provinces all up in Africa. And it says the black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, history, laws, and written records with them. So here, we lost our culture, we lost our history, we lost our laws, we lost our written records that we carried with us. You see? This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jews, he said Jewish, but I like to say Jew, because we not ish. Ish is a suffix meaning pertaining to being like. So he got that wrong. The Israelite culture, the Jews were not observed into the autochthonous population. In fact, the Jews observed some of the native tribes. We observed them into what we were dealing with. The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people. In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings, princes, governors, generals, secretaries, treasurers, revenue agents, judges, architects, engineers, doctors, historians, language interpreters, mathematicians, jewelers, sculptors, masons, carpenters, painters of art, goldsmiths, leather workers, potters, armorers, saddlers, blacksmiths, agriculturists, etc., etc. And so on and so on, it's saying. See? So, they knew what they were coming to get. And we had those same skills here in the Western Hemisphere. Like I said, they couldn't build a building as beautiful as we had. Man, you better ask somebody. But let's look at who it is that took us down. See, the Most High told us you're going to do this. He told us in Ezekiel 7:24. He said, Most High said, hey, all you need is me. Follow me. Like he said, hearken unto my word, my voice. Listen to me. But now we want to follow our own way. Like they tell you now, follow your heart. You got to think, follow your heart, follow your own mind. Ezekiel 7:24, read, wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. Who do you think possess our houses? And to this day. The worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease. He took the kings and the princes and everybody. They're all our strength. And their holy places shall be defiled. Hear that? Holy places going to be defiled. That's why they come over here and but it was going off. Sacrificing the children and everything. Over here in the Western Hemisphere, being wicked as ever. Therefore the Most High brought us down. But one thing for sure, the Most High told us in Wisdom of Solomon 10:13, he said, when the righteous was sold, we the righteous, the 12 tribes of Israel, she forsook him not. The Bible didn't forsake us, but delivered him from sin by us coming back to the Most High's laws, statute, commandments. She went down with him into the pit. Hear that? You wonder why we still had a word. Because the Bible went down with us into the pit. This captivity, they took away our language, our culture, everything that we were able to be able to come to the knowledge with some understanding of the Most High's laws. They took them away. And to this day, while our people are saying we're not under the law, but we're under mercy and grace. Oh, yeah? And left him not in bonds. What's bonds? In captivity. Didn't leave our minds in captivity. Remember, we are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Didn't leave our minds in captivity. Till she brought him the scepter of the kingdom. Hear that? Until the Most High gonna bring us the scepter, the powers and authority of the kingdom that's coming to the Israelites. And power against those that oppressed him. You hear that? That's prophecy. Gonna have power against those who oppressed us. and oppressed us now. As for them that had accused him, she showed them to be liars. You know me. You know what's coming next. Bam! She showed them to be liars. Talking about they the 12 tribes of Israel. They the chosen ones. As for them that accused him, she showed them to be liars and gave him perpetual glory. All praise to the Most High. She delivered the righteous people and blameless seed from the nation that oppressed them. See, this is what we're looking at. That's why you can look at it however you want to look at it. We're going to go over how this Bible was taken away from us by the Greeks, only by the Greeks, only by the so-called white man. But what they got to remember, and you got to remember, all of you out there, is the fact that the Most High have his hand. He ruled in the kingdom of men. Man think he's going to do what he's going to do? I don't think so. Most High, you got to go to sleep sometime. And when you go to sleep, the Most High direct your steps and what you going to do. To hide your pride away from you. To make you do exactly what he wants you to do. That's why prayer is so beautiful. Man. And the fact of what he has said and repeating, reminding him the things that he has said. A lot of times we got to be reminded, you know. Don't be offended by getting reminded of something, because a lot of times, you know, some people are just, they forget. We're apt to forget. So that's why the Most High speak once, yea, twice, man, receive it not. Say. But that's beautiful. So we know that. So look at Psalms 55 and 20. Psalms 55 and 20. He had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. You know, you look at, like right now, they get ready to have, like it's such a peaceful, I call it a holiday, Thankstaking. Because we're a peaceful people. And he put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Over 453 covenants, which is a contract that was broken, in saying this and that and whatever. Didn't matter. Didn't mean nothing. Because they broke over 453 peace treaties, as they say. His words, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. You know what I'm saying? I have black friends. I love black people. But we the Indians, who they call Indians. 2 melanated people here. That's what Christopher Columbus said. I mean, but you know, there's been a whole lot of mixture of this, that, the third, whatever. We scatter among all nations, so it ain't just by no skin color. Understand this. I'm not saying that. But understand this. I got to say this so that you'll know that when you look at $5 Indians and the ones that claim to be us is not us, where they at? That's all I got to say. Where they at? Where they at? In abundance. We're the last days. So, I know one thing. I'm trying to teach my people, whoever going to hear my words, that's the words of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua and our ancestors, that the Most High had them write these words, they were moved by the Holy Spirit, this truth. Anyone that's heard this truth and it didn't move you to maintain this in this truth, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what abundance is of that. I remember looking at Naphtali stand up, one person stood up. You know, so I'm just praying the Most High that he'll gather us together, more of us together. He said, hey, he said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. You hear that? War is in his heart until this day. Words of his mouth smoother than butter. I'm not racist. I have black friends. I love black people. We hang out, we do this and we do that together. Look at the little boy. 14 years old. I don't know how old. I think he was about 14. Anyway, Emmett Till was 14. He just killed a little boy. He said his white friends came and got him. Parent and son, I think. He ended up dead. Face all smashed up like Emmett Till. Sad, man. Talk about he died in this much water. 2 inches of water. Man, this is... Look. No biggie though, right? Just us. It's just us, so it's what they do to us. But I know the word says this. Zechariah 5:11. No. Sad, boy. When I think about how we have to, all we have to go through, man, we blessed, man. To even see a day that we don't have to deal with this madness, man. Zechariah 11:5, Salakia. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. That's something. Hold on. You know I gotta go into my bag. Show you something. You go one right here as I look at this. Whose possessors slay them, hold themselves not guilty. Hold up, I got one better than this. Hold on. They must be remembered. This is what happened to us. This happened to us. My brothers, my sisters. Possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. My apologies to the families, but they must be remembered too. These are people. They must be remembered too. Oh yeah, we got it. I got it for you. Right here. See here, we looking at Emmett Till happening over again. Just a few weeks ago, just days before now. Who possesses slay them? Willie Brown. I mean, how do you deny this? As we go through this, so you know. You see, that's Emmett Till right there. That brother got on Converse, hanging on a tree. This is 2020. See, that's so you know that's Leroy Brown at the top right there. That's him burning at the stake. Right down there. See, it's sad, you know, but it's real. I gotta bring it, you know, because it's for you women out there that think, oh, men, only the men have to deal with it. You see the women here? You see the women hanging up by their wrists? What I say one thing about, I want y'all to look at these women. The women still got a headdress on, and they still got skirts on or dresses on. Is that our culture or not? See this? So these are the things that we've gone through. See? Now regard the old or the young. Now regard the old or the young. These are the things we've been through. And why should we still be going through this today? That we're going through things that we're going through. If that don't touch you somewhere or another, you're not real, man. You're not even worth even considering. Listen to what it say. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. See? They had their swords. They killed us. Genesis 49:19. Genesis 49:19. Genesis 49th chapter talks about our forefather Jacob telling the tribes something pertaining to their life and their plight in this world. This is 49 and 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. Right? It says, a troop shall overcome him. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. You see? So mind you, we are scattered among all nations. We're scattered around the world. But we are dealing with what happened to the indigenous people here. He's saying, a troop shall overcome him. So a troop overcame, the cavalry overcame, which is a troop, overcame the indigenous so-called North American Israel, the tribe of Gad. I know the Ouachita, they had a lot of land, Black Indians from Gulf Coast of Mexico all the way to Canada, all those states. Because the government gave them back about 65,000 acres. You hear what it said? A troop shall overcome them, but at the last, at the last, they shall overcome them. That's why it tells you, however you want to look at it, whoever it is, that all the 12 tribes of Israel that are scattered among all these nations, and who this fits. Revelation 13, 9, and 10. If you can hear my voice, you got ears, listen to what it says. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Like I said, y'all got ears so you can hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Listen, he that killeth with the sword, remember they came for peace, but then they drawing swords, right? He that killeth with the sword, they kills with the sword, must be killed with the sword. You hear that? At the last, Gad go overcome. He shall overcome at the last. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. 2 Ezra 6 and 9. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. You see? So, that's the end result. And you got to deal with the Most High on that, because that's what he had written in the Bible. So yeah, they celebrating Thankstaking because the land was taken. It wasn't given. They didn't vote for this land. They stole this land and all the lands. That's why Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And all thine adversaries, all our enemies, all the ones that done this, every one of them, he's not excluding no one. That's why when you look at people want to say, the Most High could put this into any scripture that he would have written. Every one of them. That means nobody's excluded. Every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. See, most of the time, what he going to do to us if we ain't follow his law, says, command? We heard that in the curses. And he fulfilled what he said he was going to do to us. But he still have a judgment for those that did this to us. And all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. They're going to be a prey. It don't sound right to you because you're looking at the world that you're in now. Like they feel like, hey, they say, hey, can't nobody take us down. Who's gonna take us down? We got the nukes, we got this, we got that, we got things we even revealed to you. But you gotta remember, the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he allowed them to get that. So that, hey, what you think? How is it going to be a great galactical battle if he don't allow them to have super weapons? That's why everybody going to be afraid. Everybody going to be scared. When they see the galactical battle and the battle that's going to happen on this earth in 1 hour by Mashiach Yahushua and the angels, well, he said he's going to bring them down by itself. So angels going to be scooping us up, whatever. Most High will, if we worthy to be scooped up, to go into the, get ready for the kingdom. But it is what it is. I mean, when you look at, I want Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, and we're going to read verse 20 and 21. Deuteronomy 33 and 20. Still dealing with Gad. And you know what? When you do some history on Gad, look at Deuteronomy 33 and 20. And of Gad he said, blessed be he that enlarges Gad. He dwelleth as a lion, and teareth the arm with the crown of the head. He had that big crown, that big bonnet that he wore with all them feathers going down. That was Gad's thing, And he take one of those feathers and he made the blood pact. And he provided the first part for himself, because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated. And he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Most High and his judgment with Israel. He was very powerful when he came over here. And wherever he was at, scattered among all these nations, he was, because you understand this. We went into captivity. When we came out of captivity, we went to other lands. Went into captivity, ran to other lands. You see? So that's why they scattered among all these nations. We are, especially Judah, around the four corners of the earth, man, straight up. And just for your information, just in case you're wondering why I say melanated people and so forth, because Isaiah 48:1. Hear you this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. Hear that? Come forth out of the waters of Judah. That's all 12 tribes. Come from the waters of Judah. See? Which swear by the name of the Lord. I love the Lord. I love the Lord. And make mention of the God of Israel. Make mention of the Most High. But not in truth. Not in truth. Not in keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. That's the truth. We got to go there. Psalms 119, 142. That righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Not according to keeping the laws of the Most High. They said about these religions that say you ain't under the law. You ain't dealing with the truth. Nor in righteousness. And we know the righteousness is what? The keeping of the laws of the Most High. So you're not righteous if you don't keep the laws of the Most High. And the laws of the Most High is what? Moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws. What's righteousness? Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness if, which is condition, if we do this, we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power. Our is another personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. As he have commanded us. Simple as that. So these are the things that we're looking at that we didn't do as a nation. Therefore, the Most High say, "Go bring the worst of the heathen upon us." They were made for a certain purpose, and they fulfilling their purpose. You know, that's why, they could say whatever. They do what they're supposed to do. Proverbs 16:14. The Most High have made all things for himself. Yeah. Even the wicked for what? For the day of evil. So it was made for the day of evil. This is not nothing new. We knew this. We knew who they were. We knew who they were. They's not no brand new people to us. Brand new to the ones that killed everybody off. Here, they killed everybody off and they allowed our babies to grow up to be Edomites or not knowing who we are, our culture and so forth, as we grew up not knowing. But listen, David said this. This is way back to the time that David ruled as king of Israel. This is what he said in Psalms 137, 7 verse. Remember, O Most High, the children of Edom, that's a so-called white man nation, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundations thereof. They burn our cities down, our temples down. O daughter of Babylon. So you see in Revelation, Babylon the Great, referring to Edom as the daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. Remember,